Underdog! I know a lot of you are expecting me to hate this one, but you might be surprised to find out you're right, I hate it. No twist on this one, This isn't even a so bad it's good movie, it's just boring, dull, and dumb. I guess I knew a little bit about Underdog. They ran a few reruns on Nickelodeon back in the day, and all I really remember is it took place in a world kind of like Tiny Toons where people and animals just kind of walked around, and there was a superhero named Underdog who was just kind of a dog Superman before, dog Superman. And aside from that, all I remember is the catchiest theme song, which I think everybody remembers. That's one of the few fun moments in this movie is just hearing that theme song, even if it's done by whatever band of the day was popular. It's still a great theme song. Outside of that, from what I can tell, there's very little that connects to the cartoon. Because this isn't a world where people and animals just walk side by side, it's just the human world, the boring human world that's not shot in a way that's interesting or told in a way that's interesting. They just want to do a boy and his dog movie, except the dog is a superhero. Lame. It opens on a beagle who works for the police sniffing out bombs, but he isn't very good at it. His nose just finds other things like ham and stuff like that. So he's mocked all the time by the other dogs. But this evil mad scientist and his assistant, played by Peter Dinklage and Patrick Warburton, and like most bad films with Peter Dinklage or Patrick Warburton, they are the only good part of the movie, kidnap the dog to run experiments on him, and of course it gives him superpowers. Though he escapes, he has nowhere to go, until he comes across a cop played by James Belushi. He has a son who, tell me if you've heard this, is awkward at school and has a girl he wants to ask out but is too nervous to do so. Once he discovers the dog can talk, they form a very strong friendship, and of course, the dog works on his confidence while the boy helps him become a superhero. But the bad guys return and something manipulate the dog into thinking the boy didn't love him, it was only for his superpowers. Do you even need to know? This is one of the most uninteresting recycled Disney movies I've seen in a while, and yes, there's a lot of them. I really did think though this would be one of those that would be passionately bad, like the effects would be so bad they'd be funny, or the acting would be so bad it'd be funny. It's just every textbook cliche with nothing new or interesting added. The dog is boring, the kid is boring, the action is boring. James Belushi, at first I thought was going to be a nice team up with this dog, he seems to have a lot of heart. But he's quickly taken out of the picture when they introduce the son, and it's mostly about him, and he's sadly not that great an actor.
Shoeshine, no. I told you no! It's time to teach you some manners.
I guess to the film's credit, neither is the dog. I mean, hearing his voice is kind of grating, and it never sounds like he's really into whatever he's saying.
Friends? Friends? I don't want to be friends. I'm looking to settle down, to find Mrs. Right. Yeah, she could be Polly Shoeshine.
There's two things that are okay in this movie. One I mentioned before, Peter Dinklage and Patrick Warburton, because again, it's Peter Dinklage and Patrick Warburton. They have such a unique way of delivering their lines, and it doesn't matter what they're in, they're always gonna add this level of liveliness that you don't get from anyone else. I really appreciate that even in Underdog, they're bringing their A material.
I'm looking for my beagle. Does tricks and stuff.
I haven't seen him.
What was that?
My grandpa, he's blind.
You're making your blind grandfather move a couch.
The other is, I was really surprised at the mouth-moving effects. I mean, yeah, how many times have we seen this in kids' movies where they just take an animal with a blank expression and they just move the mouth around? Quite a few, but in this one, it doesn't look quite as fake, at least with the mouth movements. Something about the textures and the way it moves with the rest of the head almost looks like they're really talking. Yeah, almost. You can still tell it's CG, but it does look better than other movies that have tried this. With that said, they never train the animals to look like they're actually engaged in what they're saying. And I know what you're thinking, they're animals, they're not supposed to, and you're used to this, right? Just these animals that look totally clueless and they just throw in a bunch of random lines and we're supposed to believe they're really saying this stuff or thinking this stuff. But I don't know, have you ever seen the Babe movies? Especially the second one? The second one gets really dark, twisted, and emotional, and by God, they train these animals to really make it look like they're saying what they're saying. And to this day, I don't know how they train these things to look so convincing. Even with the mouth movements looking a lot faker than in this film.
Those that have had their way with me make their empty promises, but they're all lies. Lies. I'm cold.
So even on that level, this movie's unimpressive. So yeah, it doesn't work as a superhero movie, it doesn't work as a boy and his dog movie, it doesn't even work as an adaptation. I mean, the setup is almost entirely different. It's just bad. Not even a watch it on Disney Plus to see how awful it is for laughs bad. It's just bad. If you're a fan of the original cartoon, awesome, but if you're looking for a big screen adaptation that's really gonna win you over, there's no need to fear. Underdog sucks.